In today's world, broke doesn't always look broke anymore. You can drive a luxury car, wear designer clothes, post vacation pictures from exotic places, and still lie awake at night wondering how to pay your bills next week. We live in a generation where appearance has become the new currency, and unfortunately, most people are bankrupt in silence. Everyone wants to look successful, but few are actually building real success. Social media has turned financial struggle into a perfectly filtered illusion, where debt is disguised as lifestyle and pressure is hidden behind smiles. It's crazy, right? Some of the people who look like they've made it are just one missed paycheck away from total chaos. They're constantly chasing validation, upgrading their phones, cars, and wardrobes, but never upgrading their mindset or their money habits. Because truth be told, many people look rich on the outside, but are drowning financially on the inside. They don't have savings. They don't have investments. What they do have is stress, debt, and the endless need to keep up appearances. They're stuck in a loop, working harder, spending faster, and wondering why freedom feels so far away. But here's the thing. Recognizing the problem is the first step to escaping it. So in today's video, we're pulling back the curtain and exposing 10 subtle signs someone is secretly broke, even if they look like they've got it all together. And trust me, this isn't about judging anyone. It's about awareness. Because once you understand these signs, you'll start seeing them everywhere. In your friends, your coworkers, maybe even in yourself. So sit back, open your mind, and let's get brutally honest about money, mindset, and the illusion of wealth. 1. They love to show off. The first and most obvious sign of hidden financial struggle is the need to constantly prove success. They're always flashing something. The newest phone, designer sneakers, luxury perfumes, or that shiny gadget that screams, "I've made it." But behind the filters and flexing lies a harsh truth. They can't survive a month without borrowing. They chase the applause of strangers instead of the peace of stability. People who are truly secure in their finances rarely feel the urge to display it. You'll find millionaires driving average cars, wearing simple clothes, and blending easily into a crowd. Meanwhile, the person who insists on showing off every new purchase often does it for one reason: validation. This craving for approval usually stems from insecurity or comparison. They buy the latest iPhone, not because the old one stopped working, but because they need to signal that they're doing well. Every post, every outfit, every gadget becomes a performance. But performances are expensive to maintain. The problem isn't the purchase itself, it's the pattern. When your self-worth's on people noticing your possessions, you'll never feel satisfied. There's always a newer car, a flashier watch, a trendier outfit. Soon, debt replaces confidence, and the show becomes a prison. Wealthy people don't waste energy proving they're wealthy. They spend that energy multiplying what they have. They understand that attention depreciates, but assets appreciate. Quiet progress beats loud pretense every single time. If you recognize this habit in yourself, try shifting focus from displaying money to developing money. Instead of posting every win, reinvest it. Instead of upgrading your image, upgrade your income. True success isn't about who notices. It's about what lasts when nobody's watching. Lesson: if you constantly need to show off to feel valuable, you've already lost the game. Because wealth whispers, only insecurity shouts. 2. They live for appearances. Closely related to showing off is living purely for appearances. These are people who craft an image so carefully that it becomes their identity. They'll attend expensive dinners they can't afford, finance luxury clothes, or take holidays just to keep up with their social circle. Every decision revolves around how it looks, not how it helps. Every move they make is about looking rich. They post soft life pictures and flex credit cards like trophies. But here's the twist. They're not living to grow, they're living to perform. It's all for show. They buy luxury they can't afford, not because it brings joy, but because it buys validation. The result? Endless stress trying to maintain an image that doesn't match their reality. This behavior creates a dangerous illusion. From the outside, they seem confident and successful. Inside, they're anxious and exhausted. Maintaining appearances is like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere financially. The root cause is comparison. Society rewards visibility more than value, so people chase the look of success. But real financial power grows quietly. It shows up as options, being able to say no to toxic jobs, bad deals, or unnecessary purchases. That kind of freedom doesn't photograph well, but it feels incredible. Those who live for appearances often accumulate consumer debt while missing genuine opportunities for growth. Instead of investing in education, business, or assets, they invest in social approval. Ironically, the people they're trying to impress are usually too busy doing the same thing. Breaking this cycle starts with redefining what rich means. Being rich isn't driving a luxury car. It's being able to buy one without anxiety. It's paying your bills with peace of mind, not panic. It's sleeping at night knowing your money works for you, not the other way around. If your lifestyle depends on keeping up an image, remember this. Appearances feed ego, not legacy. Trade the applause of the moment for the security of the future. Choose authenticity over aesthetics, because when the lights fade and the filters drop, only real stability remains. Lesson. When you live for appearances, you become a prisoner of perception. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to live free. 3. Their lifestyle changes after payday. You can always tell who's struggling financially by how their lifestyle swings around payday. 1 week, they're popping bottles, buying new clothes, and treating everyone to dinner. 2 weeks later, they're ghosting group chats and dodging bills. That's not living. That's surviving in cycles. They're generous when the paycheck drops, buying drinks, gadgets, clothes. But as the days go by, reality hits. No savings, no backup plan, no peace. That's the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. Comfort for a moment, chaos after. The truth? They don't have an income problem. They have a discipline problem. They confuse "I earned it" with "I can afford it." The wealthy don't celebrate getting paid, they celebrate making their money last. This is the classic paycheck-to-paycheck trap. It's the illusion of comfort that lasts only until the money runs out. Many secretly broke people live for the dopamine rush that comes from finally getting paid. They splurge to reward themselves for working hard. But the problem is, they never plan beyond the moment. They confuse "I earned it" with "I can afford it." Those are not the same thing. The first is emotional. The second is mathematical. When you don't have a clear budget or priorities, payday becomes the start of another countdown to zero. Real wealth doesn't fluctuate with the date on the calendar. It grows quietly every month through discipline. To break this cycle, start practicing delayed gratification. Pay yourself first. Not the restaurant, not the mall, not the bar. Transfer a percentage of your income into savings or investment before you spend a single dollar or pound. When you learn to control the first week, you'll stop suffering through the last week. Remember, consistency beats intensity. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how well you manage what you earn. If your lifestyle collapses when the paycheck delays, that's not freedom. It's financial slavery wearing perfume. Lesson. If your lifestyle changes drastically after payday, that's not success. That's survival with a fancy label. Have no emergency fund. Here's the thing. Life will always throw surprises at you. The car breaks down, your phone falls, you lose your job, or you get sick. The question isn't if, but when. And if you don't have an emergency fund, even a small crisis can send your finances into chaos. One unexpected bill, one car repair, one medical emergency, and everything falls apart. Because secretly broke people live on the edge of every paycheck. Being broke isn't just about having no money, it's about having no cushion. The rich know that life happens, and they prepare for it. They save before they spend, not after. An emergency fund is like oxygen. You don't notice it until it's gone. Even $10,000 or $20 a week can become a safety net over time. You don't need to be rich to save. You need to save to stop being broke. Most people don't realize that being broke isn't just about having low income. It's about having no cushion. When there's no backup plan, every unexpected event becomes a full-blown emergency. Those who live paycheck to paycheck often tell themselves, "I'll save next month." But next month brings another urgent expense. A party, a new outfit, a trip. Without discipline, emergencies become excuses, and debt becomes your only safety net. Meanwhile, the wealthy quietly build buffers. They know that money without margin is stress. An emergency fund is your financial seatbelt. You may not need it every day, but when you do, it can save your entire financial life. Start small. Even $10 or 10,000 a week can grow into a meaningful cushion over time. Automate it. Make it untouchable unless it's a real emergency, not a concert ticket or a new phone. An emergency fund won't make you rich, but it will protect your future riches. It gives you peace of mind, and peace of mind is the real luxury most broke people can't afford. Lesson: when you build a cushion, you build confidence. When you build confidence, you build control, and that's the beginning of wealth. They borrow for everything. Another major sign of hidden financial struggle is the constant reliance on debt to maintain appearances. Debt becomes their comfort zone, a lifestyle accessory. Loans for phones, installments for vacations, credit for clothes. Debt becomes a habit, and habits become prisons. Secretly broke people borrow to maintain an image they can't afford to sustain. They call it flexing on credit, but what they're really doing is renting their lifestyle. Here's the truth. Debt for consumption is quicksand. The more you move, the deeper you sink. The first step to freedom is admitting, I can't borrow my way to stability. Then, start climbing out, one payment at a time. Now, not all debt is bad. Smart debt builds assets, dumb debt buys liabilities. But secretly broke people don't know the difference. They borrow not to grow, but to glow. And when the glow fades, the bills remain. Rich people also use debt, but differently. They borrow to build assets, not to fund vanity. The danger is that debt, once normalized, becomes addictive. Easy loans and credit cards trick people into thinking they can afford more than they can. But every borrowed coin is a future expense with interest, and interest never sleeps. When you're constantly repaying, your income becomes a tool for survival, not progress. It's like running on a treadmill. Lots of motion, no movement. You're busy, but you're not building. Wealthy people, on the other hand, understand leverage. They use debt to acquire things that bring in more income, like real estate, businesses, or education that multiplies earning power. The broke borrow for consumption. The wealthy borrow for creation. If you're stuck in this trap, here's a hard truth. You can't borrow your way to stability. Start by tracking your debts. Pay off the smallest one first for momentum, then attack the next. Cut unnecessary expenses, downgrade temporarily, and rebuild slowly. It's not about shame, it's about strategy. Freedom starts when you stop renting your future for temporary pleasure. Lesson: if your debt doesn't grow your income, it's a chain, not a tool. They avoid money talk. You can always tell someone's financial reality by how uncomfortable they get when money comes up. Secretly broke people often avoid financial conversations. Ask them about saving or investing, and they'll change the topic or joke about how money doesn't like them. Why? Because talking about money exposes truth, and truth demands accountability. It forces you to confront your habits, your fears, and your lack of control. Ask them about saving, investing, or budgeting. They'll laugh, change the topic, or joke about being broke. It's not funny, it's fear. Many people avoid money talk because it forces them to face uncomfortable truths. It's easier to pretend than to plan. But silence is expensive. If you can't talk about money, you can't control it. People who avoid money talk often carry guilt, embarrassment, or denial. They'd rather pretend everything's fine than admit they're struggling. But avoiding the conversation doesn't stop the consequences. It only delays them. Meanwhile, people who are financially strong love learning about money. They talk about budgets, investments, side hustles, and strategies. They ask questions. They read. They plan. Because they know that silence keeps you broke, but conversation creates clarity. The wealthy discuss ideas, strategies, and numbers, not gossip. They know that financial literacy is the real flex. If you feel uncomfortable talking about finances, start small. Watch videos, read books, ask questions. The more you learn, the less you fear. If you find yourself uncomfortable discussing finances, that's your signal to start learning, not hiding. Find mentors, watch financial education videos, read books, and track your expenses. Money isn't evil or awkward. It's a tool, and if you can't talk about your tools, you'll never learn how to use them. Face it head on, and you'll discover that financial confidence starts with financial conversation. Lesson: remember, money isn't emotional, it's mathematical, and you can't solve what you won't face. 7. They chase trends. This one's subtle but deadly. Trend chasing secretly broke people jump from one hot thing to the next. Crypto, sneakers, Forex, NFTs, get-rich-quick businesses. Every new hype feels like the ticket out of struggle, but it only leads to exhaustion and inconsistency. Trend chasers rarely master anything. They mistake motion for progress. They don't build skills, they build distractions. Every few months, it's a new thing. Crypto today, Forex tomorrow, sneakers next week, AI hustle next month. They're always chasing the next big thing, but never mastering one. That's not entrepreneurship. That's confusion with Wi-Fi. So stop trying to get rich quick. Get rich certain. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy focus on boring consistency. They stick to principles. Saving, investing, building value, compounding over time. It's not flashy, but it works. Wealth doesn't come from chasing hype. It comes from consistent mastery. While others jump from idea to idea, the wealthy focus on systems, not seasons. They understand that boring discipline creates exciting results. Here's the thing. Chasing trends is like gambling. Sometimes you win, mostly you lose. But the habit itself keeps you broke because it replaces patience with panic. You're always reacting to what's hot instead of planning for what's smart. Stop trying to get rich quick. Get rich steadily. Focus on one thing, master it, and let time multiply your results. In a world full of hype, focus is your superpower. Lesson: focus, learn, grow, and let time do its magic. Consistency beats chaos, every time. 8. They measure success by possessions. Another sign of hidden financial struggle is confusing possessions with prosperity. Many people believe the more you own, the richer you are. They think success is about what they buy. The car, the watch, the outfit, the phone. But real wealth? It's invisible. It shows up in freedom, not fashion. Owning luxury doesn't make you rich. It just makes you leveraged if you can't sustain it. The wealthy measure success by peace of mind, by the ability to say no and still sleep well. The broke measure success by how loud they can look doing it, because that's the real test. Owning luxury doesn't mean you're wealthy. It might just mean you're leveraged. True wealth is silent. It shows up as peace of mind, not a purchase receipt. People who measure success by possessions often fall into the comparison trap. They spend their energy buying to impress, not investing to progress. Their closets are full, but their accounts are empty. Wealthy people measure differently, by time freedom, by opportunities, by how much their money earns while they sleep. So if your happiness depends on things, it's rented, not real. The day you stop buying to prove and start buying to improve is the day you start building wealth. Lesson: so ask yourself, would I still feel successful if no one could see it? When you no longer need validation, you've already entered the first stage of wealth. 9. They're always expecting money soon. We all know someone who's always expecting money soon. It's always the next paycheck, the next deal, the next big break. But somehow nothing ever changes. That next paycheck, that next deal, that big break that's coming soon. It's always coming soon. But somehow nothing ever changes. That's the fantasy mindset. Living on future promises instead of present discipline. You can't build wealth on hope alone. Money doesn't respect wishes. It respects work, systems, and strategy. That mindset is dangerous because it builds a fantasy relationship with money. You start living based on promises, not plans. You spend today based on what you hope will arrive tomorrow. Financially stable people don't rely on luck. They rely on systems. They plan, budget, and prepare for uncertainty. They don't count money before it comes. They make the most of what they already have. If you're always waiting for the next, Pause and ask, what am I doing with what's already here? Build structure before the miracle. If you can't manage 50,000, you won't manage 5 million. The truth is, money doesn't change people. It amplifies who they already are. Stop expecting and start executing. If you keep waiting for the next big thing, you'll stay stuck in the same small cycle. Real growth happens when you stop waiting for money to find you and start finding ways to make money grow for you. Lesson: start managing what you have before expecting more. If you can't handle little, you won't handle a lot. They look confident but feel anxious. Perhaps the saddest sign of all is this: a confident exterior hiding deep financial anxiety. They look composed, great outfits, big smiles, expensive perfume, but inside they're stressed, calculating bills, and praying nothing unexpected happens this month. They look put together. Great outfits, perfect photos, big smiles. But behind that confidence is quiet panic. Bills, debt, rent, it's a constant storm behind the calm face. They perform stability to hide their struggle. But no matter how perfect the picture looks, you can't fake peace. Financial anxiety is heavy, and pretending only adds pressure. You don't need to look rich to feel worthy. You just need to take back control. Start small. Track your money. Learn. Save. The moment you stop performing for others and start building for yourself, the pressure fades. That kind of pressure eats away at self-worth. It turns success into performance and joy into survival. Many secretly broke people carry silent shame. They fear judgment, so they keep pretending. But pretending doesn't pay bills. It just delays honesty. Financial confidence doesn't come from looking rich. It comes from being prepared. From knowing that even if something goes wrong, you're safe. That kind of calm can't be bought. It's built. If you're living this way, stop beating yourself up. You don't have to impress anyone to deserve peace. The moment you stop pretending, you start healing. Because freedom doesn't look like luxury. It feels like peace. Start small. Track your money. Build discipline. Forgive your mistakes. Lesson: replace anxiety with awareness. Remember, being broke is temporary. Staying broke is a decision. At the end of the day, being secretly broke isn't about poverty, it's about pretending. It's the gap between the life people want to show and the life they can actually sustain. We all crave recognition, but when recognition becomes the goal, wealth becomes impossible. Real wealth is quiet power. It's independence, freedom, and peace. It's knowing your bills are paid, your future is secure, and your worth isn't tied to what's in your closet or on your wrist. So let this message be a mirror, not a mockery. Maybe you've recognized some of these habits in yourself. Good. Awareness is the first step to transformation. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't need to compete. You just need to be honest with your money, your habits, and your goals. Real wealth is quiet. It's not a car, not a chain, not a house. It's the freedom to live without fear of the next bill. So stop chasing the illusion. Start building the foundation. Because when you stop pretending, you start becoming. Start choosing progress over pretense. Learn, save, invest, and build slowly. Because true success doesn't shout. It shows up in your stability, your peace, and your options. Be the person who doesn't need to prove they're winning. Be the one who quietly builds the kind of wealth that speaks for itself. Hey, if this video opened your eyes or got you thinking differently about money and mindset, then don't just stop here. Because this is only the beginning. The next video will take you even deeper, showing you how to break free from the paycheck cycle and start building real, lasting wealth, one smart move at a time. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new uploads. Because every week we're uncovering the truth about money, mindset, and success, the kind of lessons the rich know but rarely talk about. Join the community. Don't just watch wealth. Start learning how to build it. Subscribe now and let's grow together.